hunting is so special, because I think there's a level of environmental activism that a lot of these hunters are participating in that nobody is giving them credit for. Instead, they get the look of, oh, it's a dude in the big diesel truck, doesn't give a shit about the environment. It's not the case. Like, that dude is doing way more, in my opinion, than you and your Tesla. When you see something as a resource, or like the importance of resources, it makes you want to fight for it, you know? Like, you put food between Bessie and another dog, and Bessie's gonna fight the other dog, and she's gonna protect that thing. And I think that hunters see nature as a resource, and so they do have a desire to protect it. City people view nature as a symbol. We don't see it as a thing to benefit from. But you talk to some of these hunters, and they're in board meetings and in city hall meetings trying to preserve hunting seasons so that that funding can go to the park rangers and to the conservation. They see it as a resource, whereas I really truly believe that we as city people tend to just see it as a symbol. I feel like hunters deserve a lot of praise for the way that they protected public land and access to public land. And nobody ever told me about a Hungarian partridge before. They don't got those in New Jersey, where I'm from, you know? A partridge in a pear tree, that's the only thing we know about a partridge, bro. And then now I'm like experiencing it, and also experiencing this other side of Oregon that I've sort of shunned personally. Like, I just had no interest in going east to Eastern Oregon, nor have I ever felt comfortable really going that way, because I know of Oregon's history. I've just been so enamored with the coastal range of Oregon that to go out there and then be like, oh shoot, this is gorgeous. So in college, I started fly fishing. We would do this thing where we would go out, we would catch catfish, and then we would have a Sunday dinner. And I think that experience taught me how special it can be to go out and harvest and then eat something that you harvested. Also really important to me where things come from, and the best way to eat something that is of the highest quality is to go out and harvest it yourself. Plus the exercise that you get behind it. And then yeah, just the desire to like, to explore. There's this moment of excitement when you see the birds. There's sort of a moment of like letdown. It's a big crash. You find out you hit the bird, and it's a big crash because you're like, I don't know where it is, and there's no way we're gonna find it. So you spend 25 minutes of just despair of like, dang, I killed this thing and now I can't recover it, I can't harvest it. And then you immediately go back into like excitement because he found the bird. And then there's that feeling also of I no longer have the pressure of making this a successful day. It is a successful day. And now the rest of the day is just icing on the cake. Like that pressure, all that work that you do walking, and finally getting that animal I think is the thing that's addicting, right? Is like you're just chasing that next little cookie, like the next excitement, the next high. And in that moment, there's high, crash, high, and then it kind of mellows out if you find your animal. And that was sort of always. Oh yeah, they're big. And when they flush, you're like, oh shit, like it's a bird. Like that's a bird, you know?
Yeah. Yo, I'm ass, bro. I'm ass.
The quail are cool. They taste good. They taste really good, but it's such a small amount of food. The chukar was substantial, and I think that like knowing that you can get a bird and actually make a proper meal out of it, like that's special. Just gotta learn how to cook it. You know? I just gotta learn how to cook it.
This came from.
As long as because all the animals, right, come from something.
Yeah.
As long as the guts are clear and out of the way.
That smells fine, right?
Mm.
Huh?
I mean, yes, but no.
Smells
It smells like raw meat.
On the primal level, that's really cool. I think it's special. But I think because it was our first year hunting and it wasn't that much, it was sort of like a teaser, like man, we got 1 or 2 birds, whatever. But it would be way better to have more. But it was cool. It was cool knowing that I had put in the work, got the bird, did all the research, you know, drove the 2 hours there, 2.5 hours back, you know, 7, 8 to 10 miles of walking, 2,000 feet of elevation, or whatever it is to get and then for it to culminate in the pan and then a meal. And then my wife was geeking over it too. Like it was just a cool like culinary experience too.
You get a little wild game. Cheers, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Hunting ethically and safely, I think is probably the most human thing anybody can do.
That's actually. I like it.
It hits on so many levels for me that are, I think, really core to who I am as a person. And so, yeah, I think that's, I've slowly started to realize that it's got all of these qualities that are good for me as a person. So yeah, it just started there and has slowly developed into this thing that's honestly like big, huge part of my life. It's like I don't know. I think about it all the time. I don't know why. It's just crazy. I definitely want to get into the conservation aspect of it, like changing that stigma around hunters. It feels like a political statement because there's a gun in it, or like anytime you talk about firearms or killing something, like it just feels like such a faux pas. Like I just want to break that glass wall, you know. Have some more of those conversations about hunting and conservation, and because especially like we're seeing it where like a brand is like, oh, I don't know if we can talk about hunting, but you're an eco-conscious brand. What do you mean you can't talk about it? You know, and it's like what are we really actually doing?